What's up, leaders? Welcome to the weekend preview video for August 14th and 15th. Let's get started. Here we go. We are in a second week of the series that we're currently doing called Here for It. It's kind of an awkward name for a series, but the idea or the goal of this series is to communicate the importance of knowing what our lives are for. Sounds like a really important thing, doesn't it? Why are we here? And those are some of the questions that we're asking. Last week, we asked, who are we? What's our value? And then this week, we're going to be focusing on the question, what is our calling? And so since we're in that series, we're going to be focusing on what God's plan is for our life. And that's important that we use that language. What's God's plan for our life? Not what's my plan or not what's my parents' plan. What's God's plan for my life? And God's plan is all about us following Jesus, becoming more like Him in our life. And the beauty of that is that we can take the focus off of what a narrow path of what we need to become, and what role we need to fill in our culture and in our world. And we can focus more importantly on the internal part of what God wants to accomplish in us. He wants to form us into people like Jesus and then send us into a variety of different directions to go ahead and fulfill His plan. So that's the idea. Let's focus right now on what it's going to look like in our activity and in our small group time. So for the activity this week, it is going to require that each kid in your group have a paper plate as well as an elastic band that's tied into the two holes on the end of the paper plate and a marker. And so the goal of this activity is for the kids to draw a picture of themselves. You know, simple enough, right? Face, eyes, a nose, all those necessary features. But it's not that easy. Of course, we couldn't make it that easy. So they have to strap the plate to their head, kind of like a birthday hat, and then start to draw that picture as you give them instructions and directions. And the whole idea or the spiritual connection with this activity is to help kids see that what we are becoming as people a lot of times isn't in sight, isn't in our sight. It's something that's small, it's something that's being developed, and it's something that's going to take time for us to be able to reveal and understand what God is up to in our lives. But we're trusting Him and we're trusting that God's plan is working in us to be able to develop and grow something that is important. And ultimately, what our calling is to grow into people who are becoming more like Jesus. And so the visual part is the part where that connects. So not being able to see, but trusting that there's something happening and something is being developed. So it may look a little bad. It may come out a little bit wonky. Actually, it probably will. But the hope isn't in the final product of what it looks like, but it's in the process of what's being done and trusting God with what's being done. So that's the idea, and the challenge for this week is to follow up with this and ask their parents or a guardian in their life, where did the kids see God? Where do the parents, sorry, see God at work in their life? And then the challenging part is to follow up with that question and say, where do I need to start praying and being led by Jesus to become more like Him in my life, opening themselves up to be challenged and opening themselves up to be directed towards an area that they can work on. So that's a challenge for them this week. It's a challenge for all of us. But think about people in our life that we know, that we trust, that we can open ourselves up to maybe ask those difficult questions. That would be a valuable activity, I think, for any of us. All right, that's me. That's who I am. That's who I'm becoming. All right, let's transition to serving these kids this weekend, and I hope you're excited as we continue to minister and do life in service to Jesus, and most importantly, in serving these kids. God has called us to care for people, and we're living out our calling this week by becoming the people that God wants us to become through serving and caring for His people. So I'll see you guys this weekend. Wear your Team Kids shirts, and if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. I am available. All right, bye.